So on the internet, you want to go to www.classroom.google.com. That's classroom.google.com, and it'll open up the Google Classroom page. Just go ahead and click on that button in the center, that blue button that says go to Classroom. Now you're going to go and sign in with your login that you're going to be using. In my case, I'm just going to use our district login and our district password. So once I put in my password, it takes me to my home page, and I already have one class created. But look at the top right-hand menu. There's a plus sign next to the little square grid. You'll click on that, and you'll get a drop-down menu to join or create a class. You want to create a class. Join a class is for the students. Create a class is for the teachers. So go ahead and name your class. I'm going to go ahead and name mine JV Orchestra. For the section, I personally will leave it blank because I have 4 grade levels. Under subject, I'm going to put orchestra. And then for the room number, my room number. At the bottom, you'll go ahead and click that blue word that says create, and that will create the class. Now, if you made a mistake, don't worry because you can always go back and edit this later. After this, once the class is actually created, look at the top left-hand menu. There's 3 lines. If you click on those 3 lines, it'll open up a menu where you can toggle between classes. I'm going to go ahead and click on Varsity Orchestra and actually go back to that class. Now look where the little violin is at. Select theme or upload photo. I'm going to click on select theme, and that'll actually open up different themes that I could pick from for my page. If you look between them, you'll see different ones for English and math and sports and arts. I'm going to go to the arts section and click on an image there, and that'll actually change the theme colors for my page. Now, at the very, very top, there's a little gear. If you click on that little gear, that'll open up your class settings. This is where you can actually go back and change those class details that we worked on earlier if you ever made a mistake or you just want to change them. So we're going to go ahead and go back to the main screen. Now, look where it says share something with your class. That's going to let you post a comment or an update or some information. Let's click on it, and it'll open up a menu where you can type. Now you can type whatever it is that you need to say. Remember, this will be live as soon as you click post. Now let's click on that add button, and you'll actually get options to add a link or a file. But we'll leave it alone and go where it says post. If you click on the triangle, you get the option to post now or schedule it for later. But let's go ahead and click post and make it go live now. So now the post is live and students will be able to see. Now if they click on that add class comment, they could type there or you could type there and have a conversation under the same thread. Look at those 3 dots that are on the corner. You can either delete or edit the comment if you make a mistake. So let's click on edit and let's make a change in case you forgot to add something or you just want to change it. That's where you would do it. I didn't add anything, so I left it. Now look at the top, it says classwork. That's your menu that you're going to be moving to and from. If we click on that classwork tab, it'll take us where we can actually add assignments. Now look at that create button. It may be a different color depending on your theme. Let's click on that create button, and now we can actually create items. We're going to get that topic at the very end of the menu so that we can actually create topics. This isn't necessary, but I suggest that you do it to keep things organized. My first topic is theory, and I'll click add. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create something again by clicking that button, and I'm going to create additional topics. The next topic I'm going to use is music, history, and I'll click add. One more time, going to the create button, I'm going to go ahead and create one more topic. Skipping over, I have my topics. Now look at those 3 dots. By clicking, you can actually rename, delete, or move them around. I'm going to go to the theory one, and I'm going to actually move it higher. I want to give more importance to those, so I rearranged it. Now let's click the create button one more time and get that drop down menu. Let's click on material. By doing so, what we can do is we can just give reviews or handouts, even videos. This particular material, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to call it Frolicsome Finale. This is one of the pieces that we were working on for UIL. I'm still going to use the piece because the kids are familiar, but I'm going to use it as a music history lesson now. So I'm going to leave the description empty. Again, it's optional. Now let's click that add button right below that. That's going to let you see what type of material you can add. I'm going to use a video from YouTube. So I will click on YouTube, and that actually opens up the YouTube file. You can click on URL if you already have the copied link, and you could just paste it there. Otherwise, do a video search. By doing a video search is exactly like you would search on YouTube. So I'm going to put in Frolicsome Finale and do my video search. Now I had actually searched before, so I'm familiar with the videos that I want to use. Click that blue button with that magnifying glass and it'll search it. Notice that it comes up with a lot of different files. Again, just exactly like YouTube would. I'm going to click that very first one where you can see highlights a darker blue and then click add. By doing so, the file is now added there. Now, if you were to click on that create button, you can actually create your own files, but in this case, I'm using videos, so I'm going to leave that alone. Now, let's click that add button one more time and click on YouTube once again. I want to add an additional YouTube video because that first file I added is great for the audio, but I actually want to see the kids look at the score, which I found a great YouTube video where you can see the score. So I find that file and then I highlight it and click add. Now, by doing that, there's two files that are on my material item. So go to the right-hand side. Notice where you can select what students or what class sees it. In this case, it's always going to be students because I haven't added any groups, or you can select if both classes see them if you're going to use the same material for all of your classes. Now below that, it says topic. So you click on that and then you can select what topic you want it to be at. In my case, I'm going to use it as a music history lesson, and then I'll go to the top and I'll click post. By doing so, it goes live and then the kids can see it. Again, you can always schedule it for later if you're working on something kind of late at night and you don't want it to be posted live right away and you want to schedule it for the next morning. You can do that by scheduling it, but posting will make it live right away. So now it's under our music history tab. Let's click that stream button at the menu at the top one more time so that we can go back to our homepage. Now, once you go back to the homepage, you can actually see where the link is now there, and the students will be able to click on the purple button and see what I attached. I personally don't like that. So let's click that gear at the right-hand top side, and we'll get that menu where we can change that. Under General, you can see how the stream is actually viewed. So look where it says classwork on the stream, and I'm going to click on that little arrow to actually select to show attachments and details. This is a personal choice. Again, this is up to you how you want to do it. It's a personal choice, and I'll click save. And now kids will actually be able to see the items that I uploaded. So it makes a difference because it's easier for the kid to just click on it versus navigating to a different menu. Let's click on classwork one more time at the top menu so that we can add some additional material. By clicking that create button, once again, we actually will get that menu. This time what I want to do is I want to add some handouts. So I'm going to click on material so that I can add some handouts in preparation for a quiz I want to give. The quiz I want to give is actually on music intervals. So in order for them to prepare, I'm going to do a lesson, but I also want to add additional handouts. So I'm going to name them Interval Training Worksheet number 1. And again, under the description, that's optional. That's up to you how many descriptions you want to add. Now let's click that add button and click on Google Drive. I already had all these PDFs saved, so it opens up the Google Drive. And I'm actually going to click on that intervals PDF and click add. Now, whatever you use to log into Google Classroom will be the same account for Google Drive, and it links them automatically. Now look at the right top hand side. Let's say that I forgot to click post and I left it as is, or I accidentally closed the window for whatever reason. Don't worry about that because notice at the very top it's saved as draft. So all you do is click those 3 buttons and click edit. So it'll take you back to the work that you did. What's cool about it is that as you do work, Google Classroom actually saves all that work for you, so it's not accidentally deleted or lost. So now what I'm going to do is I actually want to change the title, and I just put worksheets, and then it automatically saved it. Now here, let's say you wanted to add additional file, like I said, you can make changes, and I just went ahead and added that additional file. Now on the right hand side under topic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select theory because that's the topic I would like to put it under. And I'm going to click post at the top. Again, don't be worried if you forget if to post, that's not a problem. Remember, it even warns you sometimes that posts will be done immediately. So now we're going to click on stream at the very top and we're going to go check that post out. Notice how the two items that I added are under that post. If a student clicks on it, they'll be taken directly to that PDF and it'll open up. Again, those three dots you can always edit. But let's go back to classroom at the top one more time. This time I want to add a quiz. So let's click on that create button and get that drop down menu. Let's click on quiz assignment. What's cool about Google Classrooms is that it automatically creates a Google form as a blank quiz. So you don't actually have to add your own quiz. We're just going to go ahead and edit that in a little bit. But first, I'm going to give it a title and I'm just going to name it Intervals Quiz Number 1. Again, instructions are optional, but I would suggest that you add them for tests and quizzes and items that students might need just additional instructions. I'm going to do something very generic and just make sure that they answer all questions. Now, you can always add additional items, but like I said, Google Forms will be added automatically as a quiz. But let's check that out by clicking that add button and notice that you're going to get a drop-down menu. I'm going to leave it as is and just use the form that was actually added to this quiz. Now on the right hand side, look at points. That's the point value you want to assign to this quiz. Now I'm going to leave it as 100. Then click on due date and you'll click on the date that it's actually due. I'm just going to check something generic for the meantime. Now below that, under topic, I'm going to go ahead and add it under theory. You can always create a topic if you decided that you want an additional topic. But I'm going to put mine under theory. Now click on blank quiz Google Forms where the actual item is. This will actually open up the edit function of the quiz. So by clicking on it, it'll take you straight to the Google form. Now you may or may not get this notification. This is from Chromebooks. If you lock it, kids have to spend that time doing the quiz, but not all kids have Chromebooks, so dismiss that. You don't want to select the Chromebooks option because then they're going to have issues. So click on blank quiz at the very top and you're going to be able to change the title just by clicking on it. I'm going to call it what I did, Intervals Quiz Number 1. Now click where it says Untitled Question. Just by clicking on those words, you're able to rename items. It doesn't take a right click or anything like that. Just click on that and name your first question. You, of course, will create your own questions and do whatever questions that you need. In this case, I'm going to do what is the interval between A and C, and then, of course, my question mark. Now, at the right, it says multiple choice. That's a drop-down menu. You can change the style of the question. You can even make it a picture question by picking that picture icon. You see the different options. I want a multiple choice question quiz, so I'm going to leave it as is. Now, click where it says option 1, and now you can put your first answer choice. Again, answer choices can also be pictures. And my first answer choice, I'm just going to put the different ones that I can do, and I'm going to label it major third. Now below that it says add option or add other. Let's click on add other and it'll make the option as other. If you decided you didn't want that, you can just click that X at the very end and it's gone. Click on add option and that will allow you to add a different answer choice. So I'm going to go ahead and follow the process and add my different answer choices by clicking on add option. Again, by clicking the X at the end of the line, you can remove that answer choice completely. So on the bottom right hand corner, there's a word that says required. You want to make sure to toggle that and turn it on so a student can't turn in a quiz without at least giving an answer choice. That will make sure that they answer our questions. Now click on the bottom left where it says answer key and blue letters. Here I will be able to select the correct answer for this question and also assign a point value for this particular question. On the right, it says 0 points, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change that to 10 points. That's the value of this question as I am doing a 10 question quiz. So I'm going to change the 0 to a 10. And then after that, what I can do is select the right answer for this particular question so that when students submit their answers, the computer can determine if their answer was right or wrong. And then after that, I will click on done and it will be submitted. It takes us back to the question, but we need to make sure we click assign. So let's go back to the classroom tab using the tab at the bottom for our browser. and we'll go back to that classroom tab where we can be able to assign the quiz. Again, you can tab back and forth between the quiz and your classroom tab, which you can actually update the quiz. Now let's click assign, and once we do so, it's live and the students would be able to see it and submit answers. Let's say that you want to make changes, you can still do so. Again, I would suggest making sure that it's completely done before you submit, but you can still make changes even after it is done. But be very careful with that because kids will be able to start submitting answers once you assign it. We use that tab at the top to go back to our quiz, and let's click that plus sign so we can add an additional question. Now we're going to follow the same process we did earlier, except for this one, I'm going to use a multiple choice question to create a true or false answer choice. I add my question and then it recognizes it, so it actually adds a suggestion. I click add all and it will add the true or false answer choice on its own. Again, I can always X them out or change them. Click the required button on the bottom to make sure it is required. Let's make sure that that's turned on. And then we want to click answer key and it takes us to assign our 10 points and select our correct answer. And then of course we would click done. The cool thing about it is that once you do that and you click done, it already became live in the submitted version without you having to reassign it. And it's already up and running and submitted. We'll double check it by going to our stream. And if we click on that intervals quiz, this is what the students are seeing. Make sure that they answer all questions, of course, by toggling that send a copy of a response. The kids will get them in their email, which I suggest you train them to do. Using the tabs, I'm going back to my stream section and clicking on classwork at the very top. Now, if you were to actually hold down the tabs, you can actually drag them from topic to topic without having to go into the edit section. So by holding down, you can actually drag them around to wherever you want them to be. Now, the cool thing is, again, clicking on those three dots, you can always edit it. You can even share the link or you can just delete it altogether. But what I want to do is notice that little button next to the intervals quiz. If I click that, it opens up that drop down and then I can see by clicking on it what the students have done, what's been assigned. I don't have any students in this particular class assigned yet. This is the demo class, but if the students are there, you would be able to see them and you would be able to see who's turned it in, what's been assigned. At the instructions tab at the very top, I will be able to see what the kids see, and then of course the kids can put comments or questions, or I can add additional comments or questions. So let's look at those three lines at the very top where it says Varsity Orchestra. That shows you what class you're under, of course. But by clicking on those three lines, you'll get a drop-down menu so that you can toggle between classes or to-do lists. I'm going to click on Varsity Orchestra so I can go back to my stream page. Again, this is the way I have it set up where you can see all the items. But if you don't want it to, you just want it to be the condensed version, you would click on that gear at the right-hand corner and then you can condense it. Let's click on people at the very top so that I can show you how to add either your assistant directors or your students. So we're going to go ahead and click on that people tab. I already have my assistant as one of the teachers added to this class, but I'm going to click the three dots and I'm going to delete her. So by clicking remove. And just how I did that, that's how you would remove anybody else. But I'm going to go ahead and add her back one more time by clicking that plus sign next to that little people icon. And then since she's already on my school network, I actually am just going to do by the email. Click her email and then click invite. She'll get an invitation in that email, which she can accept. So right now it shows invited because of course I just added it. She hasn't been accepted yet. Students could be added using that plus icon as well if you know their emails. I prefer that they just use a code. Remember when we started and you created a class, there was a join class option. They would click join class and then they would put that code. Everybody's code is different, so make sure that you know the code and you have a way to share it with them. I prefer using the code because I feel it's easier. Now, if you click grades at the top, any grades that you have imported from any of those quizzes would be put there. Now we're back at our stream, and again, this is what your homepage looks like. You can always play around with it. You have your upcoming things on the left-hand side. It's pretty straightforward. I will be doing additional videos on each item in the near future in case there's any type of confusion. I hope this helped answer some of your questions that you have on Google Classroom.